They've always told us the world is round, but what if the real lie goes even deeper? For centuries, expeditions vanished into the frozen south without a trace. Nautical charts were erased, witnesses were silenced. And today, in the heart of the 21st century, the borders of Antarctica remain untouched, forbidden, guarded. But there's one theory that refuses to die. The Earth isn't a globe, it's a plain, surrounded by rings. Rings of ice, ocean and land where forgotten civilizations dwell, armed with technology that would make us look primitive. They don't breathe the same air. They don't obey the same physical laws. And some say they know. We exist. Are they watching us? Are they waiting for something? Subscribe, turn on notifications, and hit that like button, because what you're about to hear might change everything you thought you knew about our world. For ages, ancient maps, whispered truths that science books chose to ignore, circular lines, unknown regions, annotations violently erased by invisible hands. The planet as we know it might be just a tiny piece of something far greater, a massive flat disk divided by rings that stretch beyond the Antarctic ice, a hidden model buried under layers of ice and lies. At the center lies what we know, the familiar continents, nations battling for power under artificial flags. But beyond surrounding everything is the real secret concentric rings of land, separated by impassable oceans, electromagnetic barriers, and eternal ice fields. Each ring a new reality, and we trapped in the central circle, like prisoners in a walled garden. The ancients spoke of these lands. The Vedas, Tibetan maps, Sumerian writings, they tell of realms beyond the known world. Explorers like Byrd described continents larger than America, located beyond Antarctica. Their words were later silenced, their missions abruptly shut down. And what exactly would stop someone from going further? The Antarctic Treaty, a pact signed by dozens of countries, banning any real civilian presence at the edge of the world. Something is keeping us blind. Satellites never show complete images of Antarctica. Commercial flights are rerouted, and every attempt at exploration ends in storms, disappearances, or censorship. What's being hidden? What lives beyond the rings? Secret testimonies speak of desolate landscapes, creatures with unknown biology, even portals, a world within a world. What if we're breathing controlled air, living under a dome and surrounded by civilizations that surpassed us long ago? Civilizations that chose to keep us ignorant, or maybe they're just watching, waiting for the right moment to cross into the inner ring. Or maybe we're the ones getting ready to invade their worlds. Ancient reports and leaked documents suggest we're not alone on this plane. Beyond the eternal ice may lie entire civilizations, some so advanced they manipulate time, gravity, and even consciousness. Others described as tribal, violent, hostile with biology, completely incompatible with ours. A parallel humanity evolved under alien skies, in alien ecosystems. They say these beings didn't just survive, they thrived without us. Some developed tech from elements we don't even know exist, metals shaped by thought, energy systems that defy our physical laws. They don't need fuel, they don't speak with words. Their crafts float silently. Their structures rise from anti-gravity fields. Could they be the ones behind the UAPs seen in our skies? But not all of them are advanced. Some reports speak of warrior tribes, nomads able to cross rings through natural portals, which open only under specific conditions. They hunt, they fight, and they see us as the invaders. Could these be the ancient gods from so many mythologies? Hybrid beings, part human, part beast, shaped by brutal environments and evolution unlike anything we know. But perhaps the most disturbing part are the reports of ancient exchanges. Archaeological remnants found in remote regions of the world suggest the existence of technologies that don't belong to our historical timeline. Memory crystals, atomic tools, impossible megalithic structures. Were these left behind by those external civilizations, or are we the degenerated descendants of one of them, forgotten and trapped here by something far greater? What if they're still watching? What if some of them have already infiltrated our ring, working in the shadows, shaping our governments, our religions, our science? Maybe true control doesn't come from above, but from outside. Outside the rings, outside what we dare to call Earth. Antarctica isn't just a frozen wasteland, it's a wall. a silent boundary imposed on humanity. Since 1959, the Antarctic Treaty sealed an unprecedented international agreement: no country may explore, occupy, or militarize the continent. But why, out of all regions on Earth, is the far south completely off limits? The treaty is, in practice, a geopolitical fence surrounding a global secret. Explorers who tried to cross the continent have reported crazed compasses, strange lights in the sky, and unexplainable formations beneath the ice. Satellites avoid the region, and curiously, no commercial flight cuts straight across Antarctica, even though it would shorten many routes in the southern hemisphere. Why? What lies at the heart of that eternal ice that so many governments seem desperate to keep hidden? Blurred images on Google Earth, censored files, leaked military accounts, all point to structures that shouldn't be there: pyramids, tunnels, perfectly straight paths stretching for miles, as if something massive moved beneath the ice. Secret operations by the USA, Russia, and China happen there regularly, always under the excuse of climate research. But what are they really searching for? Retired military personnel speak of motion sensors, hidden towers, and drones monitoring any unauthorized approach. Those who try to cross the border encounter sudden storms, magnetic interference, and unidentified aircraft. It's as if someone is guarding something, watching silently and lethally. Antarctica isn't inhospitable by accident. It was made to keep us out, or to keep something in. The most unsettling thought is this: what if we crossed it? What waits for us on the other side of the ice wall? Government silence isn't just caution, it's fear. Fear of what's beyond, fear of what might come when that barrier falls. According to this forbidden theory, what separates us from the outer rings isn't just ice or distance, it's the very air itself. The atmospheric composition between the rings would be radically different, making survival impossible without biological adaptation. Unknown gases, altered density, pressures that would crush our lungs or burn our skin. The air itself becomes an invisible wall as deadly as the vacuum of space. Independent scientists claim to have detected strange gravitational and magnetic anomalies near the Antarctic edge. This could indicate not just a shift in fields, but a change in the very chemical balance of the atmosphere. In other words, the environment beyond isn't made for us, but it is made for them, for external civilizations adapted to that layer of reality, breathing gases no human lab has ever recorded. There are even underground reports of unofficial expeditions, teams who, after crossing certain thresholds, suffered from unexplained symptoms: disorientation, internal bleeding, respiratory collapse even while wearing pressurized suits, as if the very air was rejecting them, as if they were trespassing into another dimension. And here's the most chilling part: what if some of those civilizations have already learned to breathe our air? What if they're already here among us, disguised, biologically camouflaged? Creatures that slowly adapted to our biosphere, or brought the technology to survive quietly, watching us, studying us, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. After all, we breathe without thinking, but maybe we shouldn't. Because the air entering our lungs might not be just oxygen. It could be a fine mist, a calculated haze of something far older, far more intelligent, and it could be watching us with every single breath. There are rumors that echo through the halls of military bases and inside archives that have been off-limits for decades. Fragments of unknown materials, devices impossible to replicate with our current technology. The official explanation? Silence. But among agents and engineers, a persistent whisper lingers. This technology didn't come from space. It came from outside the rings, brought here through incursions, accidents, or reverse espionage. Reverse engineering has become a kind of underground battlefield. Scientists working in isolated labs, studying artifacts that defy all logic, materials that regenerate on their own, cold, infinite power sources, propulsion systems that produce no heat, no noise, no friction, devices that only work within certain gravitational fields, possibly the same ones found beyond the ice. This isn't science fiction. This is about secret labs and treaties that were never meant to be signed. What if part of our modern technology, lasers, fiber optics, microchips, didn't originate from human invention, but from recovered fragments? What if we didn't create it, we just copied it, without ever truly understanding it? Some say the civilizations beyond the outer rings not only know this, they're watching us closely. Using their technology without permission might be seen as an insult, a provocation, a threat. The darkest reports speak of active espionage, lights appearing over military facilities, radar signals that flash in and out in seconds, entities sighted inside restricted zones near places where prototypes are being tested. Are these drones sent from beyond the rings? Are they messengers, or are they warnings? Whatever lies past the edge isn't just advanced. It's strategic, calculating. It's monitoring our progress. And maybe, just maybe, we're getting too close to understanding something we were never meant to touch. The question now isn't if they'll respond, it's when. While the world gazes up at the sky in wonder, thousands of satellites are silently rising. The Starlink constellation, promoted as a solution for global internet, may have a second and much darker purpose. Some analysts suggest that behind the promise of connectivity lies a silent and continuous mapping of Earth's borders. High resolution. Cameras, thermal sensors, surveillance systems that aren't pointed inward, but outward. At the same time, the US government established ARO, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, officially created to study unexplained phenomena. But internal sources claim its real mission is to track activity at the globe's outer edges. Drones crossing the rings, lights appearing on the polar horizon, objects that enter but never return. Are they monitoring a threat or trying to prevent something from escaping? Live feeds from the International Space Station often cut out the moment strange lights appear over southern regions. Some of these recordings, salvaged by internet users, show luminous geometric patterns over Antarctic ice in locations that line up exactly with the most restricted zones of the Antarctic Treaty. Why isn't anyone talking about this? Why the silence when the evidence is so visible? There's a fine line between transparency and containment. Governments release vague data, incomplete reports, and start using terms like UAP instead of UFO, creating confusion rather than clarity. Meanwhile, over 400 unexplained phenomena remain without real answers. Are we facing a cover-up, or an information war over something we don't even fully understand? What's really being watched, and by whom? If the Earth truly consists of concentric rings, then what we're seeing might just be the surface of a much bigger design, a planetary control network. And at the center of it all might be them, the ones who live out there, the ones who have always lived out there, and who right now are paying very close attention to everything we do. As we start connecting the dots, the forbidden treaties, the anomalous technologies, the deafening silence, one question echoes in the back of the mind. What if it's all true? What if the world we know is just a single cell inside a much larger, much older organism? A cosmic zoo, an isolated lab, a prison, built either to protect us or to contain something else. This theory isn't just a scientific provocation, it's an existential threat. It tears everything down: geography, religion, politics, science, who we are, where we come from, and where we're allowed to go. If the rings are real, then our maps are lies, our borders are illusions, and our history is a carefully scripted performance. So who benefits from keeping that performance alive? And here's the most unsettling part. Why won't anyone dare to investigate? Why are billions of dollars poured into reaching Mars, while we barely understand our own oceans? What's so terrifying out there that it must be hidden at all costs? What happens to those who cross the line? Explorers disappear, satellites lose signal, sources vanish overnight. But what if some people actually came back, changed, quiet, haunted, people who saw what lies beyond and were forced to forget? Or worse, to pretend they never saw anything at all. Witnesses who carry in their eyes a kind of terror no words could ever describe, because once you look past the rings, there's no coming back. Maybe that's why they keep us distracted, divided, busy. Because if the world ever wakes up to the truth, nothing will ever be the same again, and the veil that protects us from madness will tear. What's left when everything we know could be a lie? What if our books are just isolated chapters from a much greater story, written by hands we'll never know? What if the real map of Earth is an ancient secret, guarded by unblinking eyes, hidden behind ice walls and international laws? Every suppressed piece of evidence, every silenced report, every governmental no comment might be a puzzle piece no one wants to put together. But it's there, waiting to be revealed. So the real question is, how many layers of reality can you peel back before you lose your mind? How many truths could you actually handle, knowing the world you live in might have never really existed? Because if there are civilizations out there, breathing different air, living beneath different suns, the question is no longer if they'll come. The question is, when will they decide to cross the ring? If you want to keep exploring the secrets that surround us and suffocate us, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell and leave a like. Because the next mystery might be even closer than you think.